Right then, lesson 20 is. Hello, Mrs. Calloway narrating here. So this is the last of your recorded lessons. Do your best as we work through this. The title will be lesson 20 if you want a title. So for your do now, 2 of the plots in the past couple of lessons have finished happily. The first plot, Ariel stopped Antonio and Sebastian from killing Alonso and Gonzalo. And 2, Ferdinand and Miranda have fallen in love and will be allowed to be married. That's what we looked at last lesson, didn't we? What is the third plot? Can you remember? Has it finished yet? Okay, so that's your do now. Jot it down. What is the third plot? Has it finished yet? You've got an extension down there too. I'm just going to keep this rolling and give you a few moments to write down what you think. Okay, if you need a bit more time, pause the video. If not, let's have a look together. So, the third plot. Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo are still planning to murder Prospero. Luckily for Prospero, his servant Ariel knows about the plan. If you remember, Ariel was listening in. And Ariel has told Prospero about Caliban's plan to kill Prospero. So today we will be returning to plot 3, the plot to kill Prospero. He's one of our main characters, isn't he? So you can see how this is going to heighten tension and be very dramatic. So think about how the other 2 plots ended and the features of a comedy. How do you think plot 3 will end? That's just something you might want to think about. How do you think this is going to come to an end? So what's going on then at this point in the play? Well, we read quite a bit last lesson, and now I'm going to kind of jump into this plot and let you know what's gone on here. So Ariel has led Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo into a trap. Now you might be thinking, what is the trap? Well, you're about to find out. And like Prospero wants to find out more. So Prospero in the play says this: Ariel, come, spirit, we must prepare to meet with Caliban. Say again, where didst thou leave these varlets? So varlets there means villains. So we need to find out more about this trap. So I'm going to read a short section of the play to you. So remember at this point Ariel is speaking to Prospero, telling Prospero, informing him that he's kind of set a trap with Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo. Remember those 3 characters, Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo, are plotting to kill Prospero. So here's Ariel kind of revealing what he's done. So Ariel says this: I told you, sir, they were red hot with drinking, so full of valour that they smote the air for breathing in their faces, beat the ground for kissing of their feet, yet always bending towards their project, that means their plan. Then I beat my tabor, at which, like unbacked colts, they pricked their ears. Just so you know, that last bit, I beat my tabor, if you look over in the modern version on the right hand side, that means beat my drum. So Ariel beats a drum, at which point that kind of distracts Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo. And like unbacked colts, that means like a horse pricked up its ears, startled if you like. So at the bottom you've got 2 questions here. Number 1, why were Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo red hot? Number 2, what happened when Ariel banged his drum? Now you're going to be marking these answers shortly. So jot down your thoughts. I'm going to keep this rolling because I think you only need a couple of minutes. Okay, so a couple of minutes, jot down some thoughts here. Okay, hopefully you've got some answers. If you do need a bit more time, you can pause it now, okay? So if you need more time, pause now. So Ariel carries on, and this is still Ariel's speech up the top here, and this is what he carries on saying. Advance their eyelids, so that's Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo. Advance their eyelids, lifted up their noses as they smelt music. So I charmed their ears, that, calf-like, they my lowing followed through tooth-briers, sharp furzes, pricking gorse and thorns, which entered their frail shins. At last I left them, in the filthy mantled pool beyond your cell, there dancing up to the chins that the foul ape o'erstunk their feet. Prospero replies, this was well done, my bird. So question number 3, Ariel made Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo walk through things that entered their frail shins. So they're walking at shin height through things. Can you list the 4 things that they walked through? List the 4 things that they walked through. And number 4, where did Ariel leave Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo? Where did he leave them? So that question's asking, where are Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo now? So again, use that modern text on the right to help you. I am going to suggest you actually pause this at this point to answer those questions. A, because those questions are a bit longer. B, you can probably all hear my washing machine in the background, which is very distracting. So yeah, pause the slide now to answer. Let's walk through some quick answers then. So number 1, Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo were red hot from drinking. It said in the modern one, it used the word drunk there, didn't it? But they've been drinking. Number 2, when Ariel banged his drum, Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo followed the sound it made. So again, mark your answers, tick them as you go. Number 3, Ariel made Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo walk through toothed briars, sharp furzes, pricking gorse and thorns. That's kind of like, all of those descriptions are like low prickly bushes, if you like. And number 4, Ariel left Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo in a filthy swamp. So that's his trap. That's where Ariel has trapped them at the moment, in a filthy, dirty swamp. As a result of all of this then, Prospero is pleased with Ariel. He's pleased this has happened. So at the end of that part, he said, well done, my bird. Now, just so you know, Prospero had sent Ariel away to trick Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo, because Prospero wants to catch them. Okay, you think about, if you know these people are after him to kill him, then Prospero is probably going to want to catch them, isn't he? Now, also in the play, kind of running alongside this, if you like, Ariel is gone and Prospero talks in the play. He talks aloud about all of the efforts he has made to educate Caliban and make him civilised. So Prospero feels like he's put loads of effort into Caliban. He feels like really angry and that this is unjustified, because actually he has tried to, in his eyes, educate and help Caliban and make him into this civilised being that Prospero thinks he should be. And Prospero talks about Caliban's nature. He also talks about the way he has tried to nurture Caliban. Now, some of you might have even heard of this, an idea. Is it nature? Is it nurture? And we're going to explore that idea now in relation to Caliban. So nurture, what does that term mean? When you nurture something, you encourage or support the development of someone or something. So you might use this sentence. He was an inspiring leader who nurtured the talents of his colleagues. This person supported his team. They have become better at their jobs. He has nurtured his team. It means to kind of help someone flourish, help somebody out in a kind of caring manner. The things that you do to help them progress or develop. So when you nurture something, you encourage or support the development of someone or something. So you might also say it like this. She was a caring mother who nurtured her child with love. This mother is helping her son with his homework. She is supporting his development. She is nurturing him. When you nurture something, you encourage or support the development of someone or something. Okay, so that's the definition. So, quick quiz. Who nurtured Oliver Twist? Fagin or Mr. Brownlow? Question number 2. For these, you might just want to kind of answer in your head if you like. Number 2. What would you do to nurture a younger brother or sister? Number 3. Teachers try to nurture a lot of different things in students. Think of 3 different things that teachers try to nurture in students. Number 4. Which characters has Prospero tried to nurture in the Tempest? So again, think of that obvious one that he has tried to nurture. And number 5, having a look at the little picture at the bottom, how is this man nurturing his plants? How is he helping their development? So Prospero thinks that he tried to nurture Caliban. Even though Prospero tried to teach Caliban and make him civilised, Caliban still tried to assault Miranda and curses and swears at Prospero. So here's how Prospero describes Caliban. This is from Act 4, Scene 1. So Prospero, like I said, he's on stage and he's talking about his feelings here towards Caliban. A devil, a born devil, on whose nurture can never stick, on whom my pains humanely taken, all lost, quite lost. And as with age his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers. I will plague them all, even to roaring. So this speech asks lots of questions about people's inherent behaviour and the behaviour we can try to nurture in them. By inherent, it means intrinsic or innate, kind of already inside somebody, I suppose. Is some of our behaviour already inside us, is the question. And they are big questions, aren't they? Some of you might have even heard of the phrase that people say, nature or nurture. Is it nature or nurture? So here are some questions this speech asks. Number 1, is it possible to change someone's inherent personality? 2, are people born as good or bad? 3, what has more influence on you? Your inherent personality, your kind of personality you're born with, or the way you are brought up? What do you think? It might be a really nice idea at this point. It says, what are your opinions on these questions? And of course, if we're in school, this would probably make a really good discussion to have with a partner. I know on there it says discuss the questions with a partner. But maybe if you're kind of sat with a sibling right now, or sat with a parent or guardian, you could go and ask them. If you're in school for the key worker, maybe it's something that you could actually ask someone that's in the room with you. If not, don't worry. Maybe just have a think about this yourself. It's something you could consider. What is your opinion? If you need to pause the video now because you want to have a talk with someone about it or a chat with someone about it, then pause now. So here is the speech again. Here is the speech that Prospero has said about Caliban. A devil, a born devil, on whose nurture can never stick, on whom my pains humanely taken all lost, quite lost. And as with age his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers, I will plague them all, even to roaring. What we'd like you to do then, and this is kind of coming towards the end of what we want you to do in this lesson, is to write down your answers to these questions. Number 1, how has Shakespeare portrayed Prospero's character? So write a couple of sentences here and think about actually how does this character of Prospero come across in the play as a whole? How does he come across when he says this, when he's accusing Caliban of being a born devil? What does that tell us about Prospero's beliefs? What does he believe about people? What does he believe about Caliban? And question number 2, how has Shakespeare portrayed Caliban's character? So again, write your answer to this question, thinking about the play as a whole. How is Caliban portrayed as a whole throughout the play? But also in this passage, this quotation above, how is Shakespeare portraying people's perceptions about Caliban? Is that the perception that you share? What do you think? You're an audience after all, or at least, I mean, I know we've kind of been doing it a bit differently, but it's intended for an audience, this play. What might an audience be thinking? So again, you're going to need to probably pause now to write down your answers. So well done, Year 8. You've done a super job of following this along. At this point, we've got a quick quiz question. Which of the following statements are true? A. Prospero doesn't know that Caliban wants to kill him. B. Ariel has led Caliban, Stephano and Trinculo into a disgusting swamp. C. Prospero thinks that Caliban is the born devil. D. Prospero thinks that Caliban can change if he wants to. Or E. Prospero thinks that Caliban is becoming more horrible as he gets older. So the keyword there is which statements are true. Give you a few moments to prepare your answer. Maybe jot the letters down. Okie dokie, let's reveal the answers. Ta-da! B, C and E. E might have caught a few of you out there actually. Only that we didn't kind of specify that when we looked at the passage a minute ago. So actually I'll mention that now. Prospero thinks Caliban is becoming more horrible as he gets older. So rather than thinking there's any sort of redemption for this character of Caliban, redemption meaning things you can kind of claw back from someone or a change in someone, actually Prospero thinks that Caliban's getting more horrible as he grows, worse over time. Well done if you got those correct. Well done if you got 2 correct, B and C there. So let's go to the next slide. That was the end of lesson 20. Well done. We will be seeing you really, really soon. Bring your booklets back in if you can. When you come back into school, it'd be great if you can bring your booklets. If you've been doing other work on paper, then you're welcome to bring that in too. Obviously you might want to check with your teacher in your live lessons this week. I'm sure, and kind of when you hear from your teacher, they'll give you a bit of guidance. Also for this week, in terms of what the task is, what you need to send to your teacher will let you know via Show My Homework or via the live lesson. Okay, so wait to hear from your teacher about what work is expected to accompany the 3 lessons that you have been working on. And on the final note, there is your last animal. Very, very cute. Well done, Year 8.